Welcome back to my channel. In our previous video, we created our servers manually, but in real world, that process have to be automated. So in today's lesson, we are going to create servers using EC2 Auto Scaling. So what is EC2 Auto Scaling? It's a collection of Amazon EC2 instances that are treated as a single logical unit. So this is going to be the setup that we are going to look at. So we are going to start with our minimum instance, let's say 1, and we also have a desired capacity, let's say maybe 1, and as traffic comes in increases, then the auto scaling is going to launch more instances as traffic increases, and if traffic goes down, it's going to terminate some of the instances. So let's look at some of the benefits of using auto scaling. Detects when an instance is unhealthy, terminates it, and launch an instance to replace it. The next one, it ensures that your application always has the right amount of capacity to handle the current traffic demand. Auto scaling also helps you save money by terminating instances that are not needed. So let's head on to the AWS console for a hands-on demo. So here on my AWS console, I'll go to EC2. But first, before we start, let's go back to networking from our previous demo. So if I go to my VPC, this is the VPC from our previous demo. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure you watch it first. So I'll go back to EC2. Now scroll down to Auto Scaling Group. So let's create an auto scaling. So we will give it a name, demo-asg. So for auto scaling, we will need a launch template. I have one already, but I want us to create one together. So ASG. So that's the name I'm giving to it. And I'll paste the same in the description. So the launch template is the template that auto scaling group will use to launch instances. So anytime you want to create a new instance, it's going to use the specification you put here in the launch template to launch that new instance. So I'll click on quick start. So I'll select Ubuntu AMI, and then instant type, I'll select the free one. So I'll select my key, and then so here, if you are setting up the launch template, you have to use your if you are setting up the launch template for auto scaling, you don't have to specify any subnet. So let me specify one here, and you see that here is going to tell you to remove subnet for auto scaling. So you have to leave that as don't include in the launch template. I already have a security group from our previous demo, so I'll select that. So as you can see here, that's my security group. And then I also want to include a public IP so that if I want to connect to it, I can connect to it via SSH. I'll leave the rest of the things here default. and then click on advanced details and scroll all the way down. So I'm going to include the web page. I'll paste that in here for my user data, and then I'll click on create launch template. Right, so this is the launch template we just created. So let's go back to auto scaling, click on refresh, and now we are going to see our new launch template we just created. So I click on next. Then my networking, make sure you are in the correct VPC. And then these are my availability zones, so I'll select all of them. And by the way, I'm working in US West 1 and I have only 2 availability zones. Click on next. So we can decide to attach a load balancer to it or not, but I'll do that in the next demo. So I'm not going to attach any load balancer here. We'll do that in the next demo. So here you're going to specify your desired capacity. So I'm going to leave mine as 1. And then the minimum as 1, and then the max. That'll be my maximum. And then you can also specify auto scaling policy. So here I'm using CPU utilization. That means that if my CPU utilization reaches 50%, it should launch more instances. So here I'm going to just do 10% so that I can easily have it scale up for me. Let me see, maybe let me do 5 so that if I refresh the web page, we'll see if it will create a new one. All right, I'll leave this as default. And then next, go to next. And scroll all the way down. So these are all the settings that we've done so far. Then going to create. So it is now in the provisioning stage. So we'll continue. So it is now in the provisioning stage. So we'll continue when it is ready. All right, so let's click on auto scaling. So let's go to activity to see what is going on. So this activity here. So let's go back to EC2 and let's see if our auto scaling is creating an instance. So we specify that we want one instance to be running at each time, and that's the one that is being created here. So we've got to wait for it to finish initializing, and then we'll move on. All right, so our instance is up and running. So